Greg, in this morning's lecture, you referred back to the research that has informed your work by Kipling Williams and his identities and analyses of the dynamics of social ostracism. And it kind of, I remember you shared with us 4 human needs. What were the 4 human needs that you found in Williams' work?
Yeah, Williams does a very expansive longitudinal study over several years, examining the lives of people who feel as if they have been unseen and unheard. And through this study, he discovers that there are 4 major themes. The first is that these fundamental human needs are threatened when you don't feel as if you are acknowledged fully. The first is a sense of belonging. The questions begin to arise. Am I a part of this community? Do I really fit here? The second fundamental human need is your self-esteem begins to deteriorate. And you wonder, maybe it's something internally flawed within me that causes other people to not view me in a worthwhile and acceptable way. The third, and I think while they may happen at different times, with each level there is an intensity that challenges the person to feel as if they're really not an existent being. They're non-existent in some way. The third is you feel as if you lose a sense of control. In our conversation this morning, one woman said, you feel powerless. You don't have an ability to make others see you. You know, you don't have that control, so you lose that sense of volition in your life. And the fourth, and I think most tragic, is you begin to question your sense of meaningful existence. If I died today, would anyone notice? Do I matter in the eyes of anyone? One of the practices that we as youth ministers, as caregivers, as pastors, might attune ourselves to is to think about, are we creating a hospitable environment? Something that's structured around a sense of radical hospitality, where young people who may dress different, who may talk different, you know, a major issue in the African American community is young men sag their pants and they don't wear a belt and you can see their underwear. Just because their pants are sagging, does that mean that they're a bad person, right? Does it mean that they're not welcome in that environment? I took a group of students out, Skip, and we were walking the community, and we saw a young man who had his pants sagging down. He had on a white T-shirt, and this is one of those communities that you usually kind of roll up the windows and lock your doors and keep. Oh, it's fearless dialogue. So our class, we go into the community, and we talk to this young man, and this is what we find. He was the captain of his college football team, and he was a senior about to graduate with a degree in physics. But at first glance, he was a problem because his pants were hanging down. He had on his uniform-like white tee. Are young men like that welcome in our spaces? And when we do welcome them in, do we have the right parameter set that they feel as if their existence is meaningful and worthwhile in that environment? Do we give them control to think through how they might impact the life of our church? Do we allow them to participate in worship, in the decision-making of the life of our community? One of the challenges that I hear in many churches is we always say, the young people are training for leadership. They are the future. I disagree. I think they're already leaders in the present. And we have to give them opportunities to be heard, to be seen in the present. It's an old Southern adage, and you know it well. Children are meant to be seen and not heard. Well, those children who are not seen and heard are off doing something to be seen and heard. So our role is to create opportunities where they feel open, they feel free to explore their vocation, to explore their calling, to explore their gifts in places of worship. That gives them belonging. That gives them control. It heightens their self-esteem because they matter. And they also realize that I do mean something here. That's seeing, that's hearing, and that's creating spaces for change.